Hey guys, Cameron with CBM Reviews here, and it's time for the very last of the DCAU movies. This is the review of Justice League Dark: Apokalips War. This movie was directed by Matt Peters and Christina Sada. Matt Peters directed a couple of the other Lego movies that came out before, but Christina Sada has not directed anything before. This stars a lot of the same people that were in previous Justice League movies, like Rosario Dawson, Rebecca Romijn, Ryan Wilson. It also has Jerry O'Connell, Shamar Moore, John DiMaggio, and Jason O'Mara. There are quite a few other people in this movie, but those are some of the main characters. And this tells of the Justice League figuring out that Darkseid has some plans and they're going to go take the fight to him, and it doesn't go as planned. Without spoiling anything, because this is found out in the very first few moments, the plan doesn't go as it's supposed to, and the Justice League lose. Darkseid has taken over the Earth, and there's a ragtag group of people that are still left in the midst of the rubble that are going to try to take the planet back. Of course, they have some resistance with, the big man himself, as well as some of his newer acolytes who may have been brainwashed amidst the loss. That's the story in a nutshell. I'm not going to spoil the whole thing for you, but I will say that there are some excellent things in this movie, and there are also some things I didn't particularly care for. Number one, not everybody gets a chance to shine in this movie. There are some people who were overlooked, some almost main characters that don't even have a line of dialogue, which is kind of a shame because this is supposed to be the DCAU's endgame. But it didn't feel as grandiose as something like world domination should feel. Also, and this is a big, this is a nitpick, but I think it's important. This movie is rated R because of violence and actually some language. But in a lot of the big fights, they use the white frame. If you're a fan of animation, sometimes they have fights on, TV or whatever, and a lot of times they'll use a white frame in place where the impact is supposed to be made to kind of lessen the violence. And they use that, but this movie's rated R. Why use the white frame? It made no sense to me. As far as voice acting is concerned, everybody hits their marks perfectly fine. There were no lines that I was just like, this didn't feel right. Everything felt great. And I think that the direction of this, for the most part, was really well done. The pacing made me feel like I was invested for the majority of the movie. And that's all well and great. But this movie has one huge complaint. I did make my small complaint before. This movie has one huge complaint, and it's one that I can't talk about in detail without spoiling it. But I can say this, the ending is an atrocious landing for something so monumental, for something that they're trying to achieve, this gigantic. The way that it ends after everything is done felt kind of like, almost like a slap in the face. And I can't talk about it without spoiling it, but I got upset. I actually got kind of mad at how this thing ended. And I don't know who's at fault here. I don't know if it was a screenwriter or a director or whoever, but if this is going to be your last movie, do it big. Don't hold back. And when it's revealed what kind of puts everything in motion, I was like, wow, that's great. And then I realized what they were going to do, and I thought it was crap. John Constantine is the main character in this, even though Superman is a close second. And I loved how Constantine worked. I normally am not a fan of characters that use magic, but he did a great job. I liked Superman in this. For the most part, Superman in this movie is depowered, and so he really is just a human. But human Superman I enjoyed because he was more relatable. It's one of the reasons why I don't like the regular Superman or characters like Wolverine but sometimes the Hulk, characters that can't be hurt, because I find it less relatable to them. But this Superman I related to so much, and he really imbued that hope that he's supposed to stand for a lot more in this version. We don't get to see a whole lot of some other characters. Like, we don't see Wonder Woman very much. We do see quite a bit of Batman, and Batman is something I will not spoil. This does bring together the whole group that they can, so it's not just going to be the Justice League and the Justice League Dark, but there's also going to be some Teen Titan characters. There's also going to be some Suicide Squad characters, so everybody that you've kind of seen, if you enjoyed them, they will come to play. And it's not just going to be the good guys, but there may be a bad guy or two that returns as well. Overall, this movie was enjoyable until the very end, where I think that they botched it, which is going to affect the score monumentally. This movie, I'm going to give a 68. The action's fun, albeit, you know, the white frames that they use, I'm not a big fan of, but they tend to go in places that I don't expect them to go, and they go further than I want them to go, which is kind of fine if this is going to be the swan song, but if you're going to do that, don't end it the way that you did. In a way, you ruined the entire movie with that thud, lead balloon of an ending. I'm not going to say don't watch this movie because of the ending. If you're a fan of all of these animated DC projects, absolutely, go watch this movie. You're going to enjoy it. You can get it on Amazon or YouTube. However, you have to understand that if this is the finale, that is not how you bring the curtain down. That's my review of Justice League Dark, Apokolips War. Tell me what you guys thought about it in the comment section down below. You enjoyed this movie, hit that like button, and if you're new here, subscribe to the channel. Share this with your friends, and as always, this is Cameron with CBM Reviews. We'll see you next time.